This is your Weather Xtreme video for Sunday, January the 8th. A frigid Sunday at that. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Before we get to the weather forecasts, thought I'd show a couple of images. There's one from a person in White Plains, New York. Looks like the ice is sliding off the roof, but holding on. And in case you missed it, the high-res satellite did show up some of the snow that occurred across Alabama and Mississippi on Friday evening and was visible when we cleared out early Saturday morning. That's also snow up across Tennessee and parts of eastern Arkansas across the Memphis area, but the high res showing it up a little bit better. And just so you know, it is cold out there, of course, but there's the temperature trace from my station. And from 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock yesterday, temperature has been going down. And at last count, we were around 17 degrees. It is cold across central Alabama and north Alabama. The readings generally from 10 degrees at Fort Payne to 18 at Calera, the Shelby County Airport. It is basically brutally cold, frigid out there. One of the reasons for that, of course, is that we have clear skies allowing good radiational cooling. And the good radiational cooling coming about because we've seen the surface high position itself over the southeastern U.S. and along the lower Mississippi River Valley, and that is allowing, of course, the wind to go calm. And with clear skies, we're just losing that heat to the atmosphere. We're still under a bit of northwesterly flow. That will be changing today, and we do expect temperatures to climb into the mid and upper 30s across the area. But it is pretty cold across the country. The blue is below freezing, and you can see that only the southern tip of the Florida Peninsula, as well as a good portion of the west coast and some of the southwestern United States, are the only places where you can get above freezing. And as a result, the watch warning map features an awful lot of purple and light purple and sort of that reddish pink color. All of those winter weather advisories, especially in the northern Rockies, across the southeastern United States and the southern tier, a lot of that is hard freeze warnings for today. The QPF, a little bit less than what we were projecting yesterday. The front probably not going to have as big an influence on our weather late Tuesday and into Wednesday as we had thought yesterday. So it looks like rainfall amounts a little bit less. And of course, as you would expect, with a lot of cold air in place across the country, the SPC is not forecasting any severe storms for days 1, 2, or 3. All right, the 06C GFS model run, and this is for Monday, and you can see that we're beginning to come under the ridging to our west as the trough moves off into the Atlantic, the trough that brought us some pretty cold air. The surface high sliding over to the Carolinas on Monday, and that is beginning to return Gulf moisture up into the lower Mississippi River Valley, especially over East Texas and Louisiana and Arkansas. The pattern for us, we come under that ridge until Tuesday afternoon as a system is moving fairly quickly through the rather fast-moving flow and approaching the western Great Lakes up there. That will produce a surface low over the western Great Lakes with a cold front stretching down into Arkansas. But that front, unfortunately, as the system moves by very quickly and gets into southeastern Canada, the front is likely to stall out. Yesterday, it was looking like it would stall out over maybe northern or maybe kind of the Birmingham area. Now it looks like it may stall out as it becomes parallel to the upper flow a little bit further north. That means a little less rain for north and central Alabama. We stay under this ridge with a pretty substantial high over the Florida Peninsula, and that ridge bulging up the East Coast on Thursday. And, of course, that means that the front's just not going anywhere as it stays stalled out to our north. The flow stays under a ridge as we begin to see the ridge pumping up a little bit on Friday in response to the digging trough coming into northwestern Mexico. And, of course, that doesn't change anything across the central U.S. where the frontal zone is stalled out. By Saturday, the ridge over the eastern part of the country is kind of getting beat down a little bit, but that closed low is still digging in across Baja and into northwestern Mexico. So that is setting up a good fetch of Pacific moisture, but primarily into Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana and Arkansas, not all the way over here. So as we kind of hold things steady for Sunday, The ridge, once again, sort of getting beaten down a little bit, but that closed low just tapping into that Pacific moisture. But the GFS is suggesting that the moisture will stay to our west, so it looks like it'll be warm and somewhat cloudy with maybe just small chances for rain, but it looks like that rain doesn't really come out until that trough comes out, and that comes out in voodoo country. It ejects outward across Texas on the 17th of January. And that should bring us some wet weather by Tuesday and Wednesday, the 17th and 18th of January. That moves by on the 18th, moves across the Mississippi River on the 18th. So once again, that's kind of wet. But we don't really cool down that much as we come under more or less a ridge. And by the 21st, we're watching another one that's another trough digging or coming into the Central Plains out of the Central Rockies. That one moves by pretty quickly, and by the end of the period at 372 hours, the flow goes pretty northwesterly, so it looks like another chill down, but not until we get out to the very end of week 2. Well, that'll do it for the Weather Xtreme video for this morning. James Spann should be back with the next edition first thing on Monday morning. In the meantime, check back with the blog for notes on Alabama's weather. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Stay warm, have a great day, and Godspeed.